and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Diverse Comics and Pop. And I'm your host, Raymond Leonard, and I create comic books, Violent Bird, Agent Solo, and Gaitron, which you can get all three of those comics right now on Indiegogo. Click on that link. You only got a few days, guys. It's going to be over pretty soon. It ends November 21st. So get your comics right now as the campaign is going. Before we get started, you already know I'm going to need you to click that like button. Subscribe if you just come across this channel, because it is crazy out here in these YouTube algorithm streets. The likes and comments, guys, means a lot, guys. I mean, we can get through the algorithm and we could get Diverse in Comics popping to everyone. We're almost close to 6K. Thank you so much. We're getting there, and I believe we can get there. Okay, guys, I got a special treat for you today. We're going to take a look inside of this magazine, Inside Comics, issue 1. This is the premiere issue. I got this book when I was 14 years old, all right? This was when Rob Liefeld was just on fire, all right? Then when he left Marvel, that news shook everything up. Then he came out with what he was doing, which was his new creator-owned comic, Youngblood. Now, just to give you a little education on Youngblood, excuse me, it was part of the whole Megaton Comics where Rob was under the Godfather Comics, Jerry Coulson, and Youngblood, the first Youngblood books, it was like a parent's back issue of Youngblood. Those books was published underneath Megaton Comics. You know, that was like the very first of Youngblood. But Rob came back this time, you know, he kind of revamped it a little. And he unleashed Youngblood to the world. And man, let me tell you something. We didn't really have internet back then. Internet was there, but it wasn't popping like that. It was still, kind of slow internet with the, someone on the phone go, we were still in that type of stage. But, we had the magazines, man. The magazines, what was the source? You know what I'm saying? That you wanted to get your comics. And that was a huge market back then, because you go to the grocery store and you were just surrounded by all this, pop culture magazine. You had the Fangoria if you was into horror. You wanted to get your latest horror news fix. You had all that Fangoria magazines. Then you had more like Culture Cash Comics magazine. You had Comic Scene. You had all these magazines. This was before, Wizard World came along. These magazines was like the coat of magazines. Like, these was like your source of getting creators, getting to know the creators more, or know about the creators, what they was working on, or what they had going on, or what books they was working on. You had magazines like Inside Comics here. And this was the #1 issue right here. This was, it had Rob Liefeld, Mark Bragley, Diamond, distributors, Steve Jeppy. It had exclusive interviews, Alan Moore, Melinda Gibby, RoboCop, mini comics. This was a pack full magazine right here. All right, it was $3.95 at the time. I never forget, like I said, when I used to go to the grocery store with my mom, I'm always begging. She used to call me her little beggar, because I would beg and beg for these comic magazines, man. I will always beg. No lie. Can I get it? Can I get it? Can I put it in the cart? When we up to getting groceries, I'm in the magazine aisle, getting stuff like this, and man, the news about we're gonna just take a look in the Rob Life. I'm gonna do a two-part of this because you know we're gonna take a look at the Rob Life interview though. All right, but then I'm gonna do a second part. Uh, just about the magazine inside. We can look at everything. All right. So as you can see, well, that cover right here is exclusive. If you got the original art of this, I don't know if Rob put it on sale for anyone to get it, but man, this is iconic, man. This is like some of the very first appearances that we're seeing of Youngblood. You got Chapel, Bedrock, Die Hard, and Shaft, the team leader. These like seeing these characters like, man, this exciting. I'm like, oh wow, man, I can't wait to get this book. How can I get it? Then we had it produced by Daryl Barrow Productions. I looked this company up, and I don't know if it's the same Daryl Barrow I'm looking at, but they was more like a production company that worked with a lot of companies, doing promos and stuff for companies. So I'm thinking that might be the same Daryl Barrow I'm looking at, because they also do music and film and all this other stuff they do. So I'm thinking it's the same Daryl Barrow. I might be wrong. I might be right. Anybody know about Daryl Barrow Productions? Feel free to let me know about it in the comments, man. Because I did look this company up, and that's why I got that Daryl Barrow Productions. So I wonder if it's the same company. So let me know in the chat. The chat guys. Let me know if what you know about the Daryl Barrow Productions. So let's get into it, y'all. So you can see these are the table of contents of it, man. This was huge news back then, y'all. I'm talking, it's huge. This is the younger image. The next generation of comic creators starts with Rob Liefeld. Rob kicked open that door. He was the first to go in Image Comics. The first. All right, let's get that right. The first to throw his book out there. First dude in line. Not the second, not the third. The first dude in line, man. So, as you can see, it says, no doubt the biggest news to hit the comics world this year was the announcement that Rob Liefeld, Todd McFarlane, and several other creators would pool their talents as part of the newly formed Image Comics press. While Rob Liefeld has never been a media darling in the eyes of fan press, the months since first Image Press release has seen anti-Liefeld sentiment of all-time high. Shortly before the release of Youngblood 1, Image flagship title and all-time record holder for highest advance orders of an independent book, over 580,000, Eric Stephenson sat down to speak with Rob Liefeld, about the birth of Image Comics, his departure from X-Force, and all the communion he's been causing in the fan press. So Rob been making people uneasy. Yes, he been making people feeling some type of way, man. He was that dude. I don't care what no one say. Rob was very, very, very worthy. He would speak his mind. He didn't give a damn if no one didn't like it. Dude always spoke the truth. This is why people really don't know him like that, because he's been talkative. He's been always stating his mind, man, and making people uneasy about it. As you can see, we get this dope shot of Shaft. Now I've seen this before. I've seen it in black and white. This is the color version. I believe also was a card. If you got the Youngblood cards, this was a card. And I don't want to sound negative, but the fact is I created Cable. Now, this is what Rob broke down about, him creating Cable and everything else. So we'll just take a look into this. This is very historic, y'all. This is very history. Let's start by talking about Image. The industry has been rocked by news that you, along with Todd McFarlane, Eric Larson, and Jim Valentino, to name a few, have joined together to create the Image Comics universe. How did Image intentionally come together? This is Ralph Liefeld talking. Image Comics was a name I came up with for things I wanted to publish myself. After speaking with some friends, Jim Valentino, Eric Larson, Tommy Furlan, I realized I wasn't the only one thinking about doing this. We talked with Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri, Jim told Wallace, uh, and everyone decided we should start a company based on creator ownership. We took our idea to Malibu Graphics, among others, and they showed us that that they were for most willing to play ball with us. So we all sat down and came up with our own characters, our own books, and now we're off and running. We'll have to see where it goes from here. Now, this, like I said, this was the uprising Image, man. It was just, oh my God. Look, I was part of that Image craze. I was in it. I mean, I was in the trenches. Went to the big tent in here in Chicago when it was Wizard World. When it was Chicago Comic Con. I'm sorry, that was World. It was Chicago Comic Con, and man, that tent was crazy. Ron was signing non-stop, man. It was bananas, man. It was that experience was an experience I would never forget, man. I wish I had a camera, and I wish I would have took pictures of that, man, because it was crazy. Okay, so Inside Comics asks, why is Image different from other companies? Ryle Liefeld responds, obviously, the most basic difference is that the creators own the work they produce. I don't share Youngblood with anyone. Youngblood is 1% mine. Shadowhawk belongs solely to Jim Valentino. Wildcats is owned by Jim Lee, and so on. That's probably the most apparent difference. As for how things will differ in regards of content, I think we'll be doing stuff that's a little off the the beaten path. Although we are doing superheroes, I think everybody's doing the book they're always wanted to do. Nothing's holding us back. No one's out there trying to take over someone else's character or fool with someone else's character or concepts. I'm not, as an example, sitting around thinking up stories for Shadowhawk or Savage Dragon. I'm solely concerned with the things I create. And like I said, this really bringing a breakdown of what, like us behind those scenes of what Image was all about, man, from the creators, is that, hey, I'm doing my thing, you do your thing, and and we just keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? We just go, don't get in my way, I won't get in your way. So that was kind of like the plan that they had to plan out. Okay, well, I'm gonna get another one that Inside Comics asked Ryle Liefeld. The reaction within the fan press has been rather negative, to say the least. Comments have been made that this is a move of ego. A lot of people are saying that you can't write, you can't draw. Is that uncomfortable for you? Ryle Life responds, no, and he laughs about it. The day people get behind me is the day I actually fall over and hit the ground. It's always been sort of an uphill climb for me. And I'm not saying I'm alone in this. Eric Larson, I think, would tell you the same thing. So would Valentino. So would Todd. And so some extent Jim Lee and Silvestri. We're all head berries to jump over. Barrels to jump over, I'm sorry. I've always enjoyed being the underdog. And it's nice to be the underdog. Again, it doesn't bother me. I don't feel vindicated when I see things like the success of Youngblood, though. I think the excitement is palpable among the group we're shooting for. I don't do comics for critics. My stuff is not highbrow. I don't think I've made any presentations to that. I mean, come on. Eric's characters have a big fin, a big fin on his head. Laughs. Mark Sylvester has a guy with 4 arms, 3 of which are positioned on one side of his body. We're doing comics that are fun. And this is he also and if you listen to Rob's observations, he mentions that. He mentions that he makes comics for fun. F-U-N, fun. And that's why I create my comics. Fun. I'm not here to preach. I'm not trying to preach to you. I'm not trying to tell you about politics and none of that. I'm making fun comics, everyone. That's what you should do as a creator. Create and make your books fun. Stop trying to just preach. Preach about politics. Preach about what's going on. Look, make the book fucking fun, man. You know what I'm saying? Just make it fun. I can't stress that enough. Okay, let me get out. I'm in the trance. I'm in the chance. Okay, I'm gonna finish reading this, man, because this is good stuff here. This is good stuff because you read it from the creator's mouth. We're all at our best when we're dealing with action, adventure, roller coaster ride comics. The one complaint I've received about my work, I stress that one is that if you pick up something I've done, you're on a roller coaster ride from start from finish. It's up, it's down. And the end of the issue, let me get my pen here because I have my glasses on. It's up, it's down at the right again. We're not doing deep intellectual fare, and I think that's what the critics are angry about. I mean, we're wondering why we're not doing romance or westerns or whatever. I'll tell you why. I don't enjoy romance books. I never read one. In most cases, I don't like westerns. What's more, my favorite restaurant is Young Guns, and some John Wayne fan is probably hoping that Duke isn't rolling over in his grave. He laughs. That's it. That's an MTV Generation Cowboy movie. Why do I like it? I like it because it's fast paced. It had a lot of great action. I liked the characters, and it had some witty dialogue. If had fun, praise, premise, there are the same things I try to bring to my own work. I do superhero books. I don't want to see George Lucas do romance films. I guess if you put a gun to any of our heads, any of us could pull off a romance comic or western or whatever. I guarantee you that everybody at Image is up to any challenge. Where do I rise to the challenge? I do the best romance I was capable of, but that won't be as good as what I do, which is high intensity superhero comics. That's what I grew up reading. It just seems to me that people should accept us for what we are and not complain about what they think we should be. I mean, if Cisco and Ebert would ever review the movie they see instead of the movie they want to see, I think we'll look at them a little differently. And I see asked Rob, Inside Comics asked Rob, would you explain the concept behind Youngblood for us? Rob replies back. In the real world, there are celebrities and then there are celebrities. For example, Elizabeth Taylor is treated like just a little differently from, say, Michael Pfeiffer. Michael Jackson is different from someone like Johnny Gill. They both sing, they both perform, but one is much more servitized under the magnifying glass. In Youngblood, because of what they do, these particular heroes are treated quite famously by the media. One of the team things about Youngblood is that we'll get to see the PR people, the makeup people, the speech writers, and so on, because these guys are very important to the U.S. government. Their image is extremely important. In Youngblood, the superpowers. Man, look at that shadow drawing, though, man. I love. Look at that rendering. Oh man, that is so dope. There's Rob. He's working. The young Rob. Rob still looks like this little though, man. You know he got a little older. He in his 50. I ain't 50. You know, I got to say that because that's what he is. But he still look young Rob here. And was finished this race because just that the superpowers race. Most everybody in Youngblood has been either genetically enhanced or technologically enhanced. There are also people in Youngblood who are just agile. There is a character named Shaft who's just an extremely well-trained FBI agent. At the beginning of the story, he's been thrust into a leadership position in which one of the Youngblood teams. In the first issue, he takes out an assassinate with a ballpoint pen because it's the only weapon he can find. He's very resourceful. He can use anything around him. He's like a super MacGyver. Then Then Inside Comics, speaking of Shav, does it bother you when people comment that Youngblood is just a retired X-Force? Oh boy, it's gonna get good now, y'all. Wildlife replies back, you know, that all started with executioners. Everybody yelled X-Force, X-Force. And I've already committed that that I can see one character who might have warranted that kind of response in Youngblood, though I have to think, oh, so this guy has red hair and this other guy has red hair, so they look alike. Shatterstar is an alien with tattoo on his face. He has these big swords. He's got a cape, shoulder pads, and he's from Lone Shot's dimension. Shad's primary weapon is a bow, and he has red hair. So he's the same guy? Give me a break. Shad decided I wish I could do the Rob Liefeld voice, but I can't voice Rob Liefeld. He's so hyper how he talks, you know. But I can say him say, "Give me a break," you know. Chapo has a skull on his face. He's black, and he's got these big guns. So he's Cable. Can I not draw guns with guns anymore? I can tell by Rob's whole reaction how he's talking to this. So Inside Comics asks Rob Liefeld, and of course Die Hard is Deadpool. Yeah, where do you so this is Rob again. This is sound like Rob. Yeah, where do they get this? So let's get this straight. I can draw guys with red hair because they're obviously Shatterstar clones? Guys with guns? I got to stay away from them. Whether they're black, white, or yellow, they're Cable clones. I can't have guys with full facial mask on full facial mask on. They're Deadpool. Then we've got Bedrock, a guy made of stone, and he's Warpath. He's the same as Apache Warrior just because these shoulder pads. Vogue has white and black makeup on her face. So that makes her Domino? Come on. Woo! Now y'all hearing it? This is straight for the creator himself. He's done said all this stuff on his podcast. He done said all this stuff on his Facebook. But some people, I know y'all probably missed it, and I know y'all don't follow around like that. But hey, y'all hearing it from the things he's going through. He's been getting controversy. He's been getting hated on. He's been talking about all his characters looking alike, blah, blah, blah. But you're hearing from what he's saying here. I'm not making this shit up. You're hearing it right here from this from this throwback magazine or what all the shit he's going through. He's telling you. All right. So I see. He's like. So I see. Inside Comics. Getting back to Youngblood. You were saying these particular characters are treated as celebrities due to their abilities. Rod responds, yeah, and the fact that the powers that be are behind them in real life. So many people let media do the thinking for them, taking take the Persian Gulf War and storming Norman Shazarworth. He was made into a media hero by the war. Shazarworth, shit. Shazworth's cuff. Did I say that shit right? Man, look, I probably done butchered that man's name. Hey, y'all, I'm sorry for that. He's written books. He commands high fees for speaking engagements. He'll probably go down in history because he was a war. He was a war that he won pretty decisively. Decisively. I'm sorry. Okay, Youngblood is a instance of the same thing. It's a guy like Superman really insisted the media would hound him to the end. If they hound a guy like Mike Tyson, they'll hound a guy like Superman. The government and Youngblood knows this, and they play off it. In the first issue, Youngblood dispatched on a Desert Storm type mission, and then one of the members gets out of line. You see, you see how the government gets involved right away and cover up, and you see how the media puts it to work for themselves. Going back to Desert Storm and the war, everyone has upset over use of pool videos, use of pool videos, but the fact that the press would use it and made the rest of it Youngblood is based on stuff like that, and to make things even more interesting, Youngblood groups have pretty eclectic mix of characters, some of which love being in Youngblood. They love the celebrity status, they love the paychecks, they grab all of it. Others are there because they have to be. There's a character named Brahma. Oh man, I love that character. And his parents financially positioned because caused him to go that route. He could have been in the NFL, or he could have been in Youngblood. As far as his dad was concerned, the government offered the better check. Anyway, he's not really doing what he wants to do. All of them have different motivations. So, Inside Comics, how will other image characters such as Spawn, Shadowhawk tie into concepts behind Youngblood? Wildlife, or really, they don't have a relationship to tie in. I think a lot of people feel that the fact that I've made Youngblood celebrities has set a precedent. That's not true. There's a book that spins off from Youngblood, clearly on called Brigade, and in it they are not media darlings. They're just the opposite. They're despised by the press, so there is no real precedent that's been set. I know Jim Lee's book is about covert guys, undercover stuff, Savage Dragon. That's whatever Eric's chosen to do. I know Todd has planned for Youngblood and Spawn to cross over in some ways. You see, Todd created Spawn as a government agent, and he came to me and said, look, I like to tie him into Youngblood. I was thrilled. Now, one of the characters in Youngblood, we can't say who at this time has has had a profound effect on Spawn. Spawn doesn't realize this until well into his own series, and the character in Youngblood doesn't realize who Spawn is for quite some time either. Something is going to happen to one of my characters in Todd's book though that will forever affect my Youngblood character. Now, we all know who he's talking about, right? He's talking about Chapel. That's when they did the whole Chapel time with Spawn, which I think that was, man, I think that was a great idea at the time. Spawn was linked in with Spawn of Killer Spawn. So that really was a great idea, but eventually, their whole spat came with the whole breakout with Todd and Rob getting to it, blah blah blah. But you know what I'm talking about. But at this time, this was Chapel. But he couldn't really tell during this time. He couldn't tell you because he didn't want to spoil the storyline, which was a very good idea. Okay, when Todd told me that he wanted to do Spawn and Youngblood, I thought, oh, this is cool. But if we were talking about another comics company, I don't know if I trust a decision like that because it wouldn't be up to Todd. It would be Todd's editor making the decision. Then the editor in chief, then the publisher. Then there are concerns with the licensings and stuff. Can we change the character? For Dow, we got out the week doesn't have the color shirt. If I want to do something with Jim, or if Eric wants to do something with Jim, that's it. Eric shakes hands with Jim, and the deal's done. Again, this is the kind of stuff we want to do. We're doing the best books we can, and I think that shows the amount of enthusiasm we have for each other's books. Which is, I can agree with him on this because people need this. This a lot when people say I want to collab with you. I want to do this. See, people don't understand that when you're dealing with other publishers and stuff, you got to go through a lot of people. The editor, then the editor in chief, then the publisher itself. Then y'all got to sign all this stuff. It's just a big. That's just a lot of shit going. That's a huge shit of paperwork. But we all in the same company together. Y'all just shake on it. Hey man, I want to do your character man. Okay, cool, deal. Shake hands on it. That's what they were doing in Image. Which to me was a great idea. Okay, so Inside Comics asked Rob, what's been the most difficult aspect of getting Youngblood off to the ground? Rob life response, probably the fact that I instantly bit off more than I could chew. When I first started working on Youngblood, I was very excited. This was something I've always wanted to do, and there wasn't a whole lot of pressure involved in a whole lot of pressure involved in it. What's going on? I'm so tongue-tied today. I was trying to split my time between Youngblood and X-Force, which he did mention. I remember him talking about this. But when Image became a company that everyone was going to be a part of, I started thinking, holy crap, I'm the first one. I'm doing the flagship book. I began to feel a lot of pressure. Then I began to realize I made a mistake by thinking I could split my time. I think that was foolish. Then the enthusiasm for Youngblood was greater than I expected. I thought it would do well, but I had no idea it would do as well as it has done. Youngblood is like doing my first comic all over again. I remember when I first met Jim Valentino, I had nothing published, although I had completed about 5 issues worth of stuff. It was in inventory work or whatever. When my first stuff came out, Jim told me, you're going to feel that anxiety. So Jim Warner, yo man, you're gonna feel it, bro. These right here, these were like cards that was in the first issue of Youngblood. If you can remember those cards that was in the books in the first issue, it's shot in Vogue. Man, it's still historic to this day. Looks like this stuff was did in watercolor. Mary, I like how the colors were right there. It's pretty dope. Oh man, every little girl wants to be a cat. we're gonna look into more of this magazine because it's a lot in this magazine, y'all. There's a lot in this magazine. Let me see, kind of what page that's on. Continue on 86. See, we need page 86. Where are you? Page 86. We're gonna get there, y'all. We're gonna get there. This magazine is so full of greats, man. I can't wait to look at this. I think that's Mark Bradley, Spider-Man, right there. Yeah. Well, we're gonna make sure because this is a real huge book to cover, and I just wanted to share the raw life story with you guys. Okay, this is younger image, just to continue to that. So anyway, I want to back and added a few extra pages to Youngblood just to make more special occasion for readers. Uh, okay, Inside Comics, what's your current situation on X-Force? Oh man, this stuff's so good, man. I love it's like you going back at the time and you reading stuff and now you understand how all this is standing with Rob and what he's doing and why he's doing and it just oh man, it's so much good history. And I'm not gonna drag the hell out of this video, but I'm just giving you guys insight and look at this stuff, man, because it's just some good shit. He said about a month ago, from the time of interview, I had just handed in the latest issue 9, and I really felt like things were finally rolling. First issue are the worst. You start a book up and you've got to get it rolling. That can be hard sometimes because you want to do so much, but you can only do much in the first issue. You've got to pace yourself. New Mutants had gone out with a bang, but when I started X-Force, it took me a while to find my pacing. My editor was very patient with me. Fabian Ezra, X-Force scripter, fluctuated back and forth. I think we lost. I think he lost his patience with me a couple of times. Everything I had planned since I took over New Mutants, as Potter and artist, was coming together, though, and I was very excited about that was coming up. Around Christmas, I took an issue out. Took an issue off just to get a breather and really go into the next year with a lot of steam. Bob Harris, X-Force editor, called me one morning and said, "Look, we've been waiting for some. We've been waiting. Wait, hold on, I got lost. We've been waiting for some stuff for the cable miniseries. I wasn't really planning on giving them anything because Marvel has not was not being clear with me on the subject of who was responsible for Cable's creation. I don't want to sound negative or anything like that, but the fact is I created Cable. But people who were there at the time knew that, but now they were telling me, well, you're going to be the sharing Cable with this person and that person. And the fact is, I created Cable. One thing that is more important to me than anything is the credit. There's a line in Memories of Invincible Man, where Chevy Chase has been invincible for 3 months of the movie, and he says to Daryl Hannah, "I never knew how important it was to be acknowledged." That's an absolute truth. My biggest thing is credit, where credit is due. And in the instance, I wasn't getting it. So in return, I wasn't going to give them anything for the cable miniseries. Wow. Woo, oh man, this is a lot, man. Some stuff I didn't even know. I mean, Rob, he talks about all this stuff from raw observations, but then you go in, you read these magazines, it's like words that, he's talking about it now, but the magazine just show you, just giving you more because, you just listen to, his response back in writing, explaining this stuff. Oh my God, this is some good juicy comic book history right here about the whole creation of Cable and how he felt. He wasn't getting that credit because they wanted him to share Cable with everyone. He felt, hey man, look, I created this from my head, god damn it. Y'all just can't take this shit from me and have me saying, well, I co-created. No, I created that motherfucker. True shit. That's what I'm talking about, Rob. I created stuff with Louise Simonson for New Mutants. Annual I did. There's a group called Surf. There was a guy named Sharkskin, a guy named Eel, but she wrote down descriptions for them. I came up with the visuals in the instance. It was shared creatorship. When I create a name and a concept and look for the character, that's something I created on my own. There are plenty of collaborations in comics, but there are also plenty of individual creatorships as well. So, Inside Comics asks, I'm curious, do you think the recent debate over who created which characters in X Force has anything to do with the fact that Toy Biz will be releasing X Force toys later this year? Rob Liefeld replies, certainly. I just think the more successful things is, the more people will want to jump on the bandwagon. Let me get this across as well. I'm not sitting here saying I'm a grade A creator. The guys I look up to are the Frank Millers, the Walter Simpsons, uh, George Perez's, the John Brons. I don't put any creations up against theirs. I'm just saying that during the time I did things, My creations were well received. 2 years from now, people may look back at Cable and think he's the dumbest creation ever. Only time will tell how well someone's work stands up. Oh my God! And let me just say this: Cable is one of the number one favorite Marvel characters ever, and he's got his own toys out still, and he's movies. Oh shit! Oh shit! Guess who's winning? Guess who's winning? Fucking Rob Liefeld. You cannot take this away. You read what it said. I just read what he just said. We would tell what it would stand. We are in 2023, and people still love Cable, and he's still drawing Cable, and Cable is in a freaking movie. Get it right. Oh, I'm getting too excited. Oh shit, this is good shit right here, man. Oh, this is good. But getting back to your question about X-Force, my editor called me up about the Cable series and then informed me I was being taken off X-Force for an X-Force indefinite amount of time. I argued pretty man, all these goddamn big words, man, vehemently that I should be allowed to stay on at least the plotter of the book. I really wanted to finish what I started as much as I could. Bob finally agreed to keep me on the plotter, and I and I and I, and I'll be staying on the book until about issue 13 or 14. By that time, I'll have done everything I originally set out to do in X-Force. This is man. Yeah. Nah, I read all this to y'all, man. Now y'all getting it. Y'all getting it real. Y'all getting it real. Y'all getting it real from me. I told y'all I was gonna keep my channel real. My channel will always be real with y'all, man. I'm reading some real shit right here. I'm sorry, dude. Man. Okay, so Inside Comics, can you tell us a little about other image projects such as Brigade and Supreme. Um, man. It says Brigade is a spinoff from Youngblood, and let me get my pencil back out because I don't know glasses. Credit the characters. I can't wait. Let's start this show shit over. Brigade is a spinoff from Youngblood, and I and all I can really say about that is I credit the characters, and they were intentionally a secondary group to Youngblood. They were essentially young trainees. By the time we started doing Youngblood, we had changed that concept a little, and it took it in a few other directions. I've given the plotting on Youngblood over to Marat Mitchells, who will be penciling it, and Hank Cassels will be doing scripting. I have editorial control over the book in the sense that neither Hank or Marat owns the characters. So I'm going to watch and see what they're doing. I think I'm leaving the characters in pretty safe hands. With Supreme, we're going to be telling a story of being a tremendous power who left Earth in 1945. World War II was over. He is supremely powerful, and he has an incredible ego. I think that some of these super guys existed in the real world, there'll be a definite arrogance in some of it all of them. This particular being kind of view the rest of us as plain and simple and beneath his notice. I must say, Supreme was the first to be savage as hell. It was not Invincible's dad, Enemy Man. It was Supreme. Supreme was wicked as shit. He was batshit crazy. He was nuts. He was a dysfunctional as fuck. Like straight up, man. Dude was just a killer, a superhero being killer. No cap. Look at them Supreme books. You see for yourself. Also, I'm gonna be doing Supreme books, so we're gonna be looking at Supreme. All right. But anyway, let's get back to it. He become feel that fighting crime was beneath him. He headed for parts unknown. He wanted to explore the universe. We open Supreme with this being incredible power, returning to Earth. The first few pages show him re-entering our atmosphere and our government, as well as other governments are going nuts. We send Youngblood up to meet whatever it is, and they discover that its Supreme has returned. Basically, his reasoning is coming back. Coming back was that he had been gone from Earth so long. He become pretty in awe in him before he left. And when he comes back and he's met the sky by people who are his potential equals, he's a little put off. Their heart is the government's biological answer to Supreme, and when Supreme sees that science and modern genetics and medicine can create things like him, he realizes he's not so special anymore. There's going to be a lot of humor in this book for the point that was the point that with his supreme ego, he wants to be in the same light as Youngblood. It's kind of Frank Sinatra saying, "Hey, why do the new kids on the block get all the press?" Supreme comes back and he's saying, "Hey, look at this. I'm lifting this building with one hand." And everyone says, "Hey, that's cool. Are you a member of Youngblood?" "No." "Oh, well, we'll see ya." Basically, everyone who remembers him from the war is really surprised to see him. The media, which I play up a lot in the books I do, are obviously going to be all over him. So, you know, he's giving you a rundown how Supreme was, what he meant it to be. And, oh man, so much. You know what we're going to do? We're going to do a part 2 to this. We're going to do a part 2 to this. We're going to leave it right here. We're going to do a part 2 to this. We're going to do a lot in this book, man. I was expecting it to be, you know, I don't want to drag this on and on. We're going to do a part 2 to this. A part 2. About Rob breaking this down, about him, Youngblood, and everything about why he was doing all this. So there's going to be a part 2 to this, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I'm going to save it right here because we're going to do a part 2 to this. I'll make sure I do a part 2. I promise. No cap. We're going to do a part. It's just a lot. And I don't want to make this a long-ass video. But, man, I was not expecting to get this juicy and getting it this interesting. But, man, oh, man, we got to see, man, a great read right here, man. This is going to be a little long video, but we're going to do a part 2 to this. Thank you for tuning in. Also, get your books. Agent Solo, Violent Bird, Guytron, click that link. It's the last month. After that, it's going to be over. It's going to be over November 21st. That's around Thanksgiving time. So get your books in so you get some books and for the holidays or the new year. You know what I'm saying? You get your Violent Bird. You get to discover my creations and have fun with them, man. Thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. I'm Raymond Leonard. I'm out. But man, woo! This is a lot, man. This is gonna be a great. Man, there's gonna be some great material I'm gonna do with this one. So y'all take care, man. Leave your comments and thank you so much. Share the channel. I'm out.